Okay. I should be writing season 20, episode 34, probably.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for wannabe fiction writers and fiction writers and anybody else who does creative stuff. I'm your host, Myrrh Lafferty. Been doing this. I'm coming up on my official 20-year anniversary of podcasting in a month. So that's weird. And actually, I should probably turn the music off for the podcast. Sorry about that, people. Forgot about that little detail. I don't think people are going to care that much. Okay, music's off. Yes, it also looks like Audrey too, yes. Yeah, so I'm Myrrh. I've written 8 or 9 books. I've written media tie-ins. I've written award nominees. And I do this podcast. Yeah. As for what I've been working on lately, I have been hit with a major side quest desire. There's a short comic that my kid has agreed to do with me. But I need to write that script. I've got a book I need to start. I want to. I really do. I know a lot of people are saying they're having problems writing this week. For those of you in the future, this week is the election week of 2024. You'll look back on us and be sorry for us. But, yeah, that's all I'm saying about that. Except for we got to keep making stuff. That's what we got to do. So, I gave a very simple title to this one, and it's called Tigers. And it just makes me think about, well, before the podcast, I was actually talking with the live stream audience about masking and ADHD. Like ADHD people kind of gauge the people around them and quickly try to match what the kind of communication they use. And for me, that also includes, how much does this person swear? Am I going to swear as much around them? I'm going to try to stop masking because I'm just tired. I'm tired of it. But I'm still going to keep the stream clean. But one thing about this whole neurodiverse thing is there's a lot of what do people who I want to be like, what did they do? And this goes beyond like dressing for the job you want or something. I'll just give a concrete example. This is way back. Way back. I remember, I think I was thinking about cosplaying, which is good I didn't get into it because I can't. No. Physical art, not me. Clothing, design, no, it's not me. But still, I like conventions and I like seeing people cosplay, so I thought, what if I cosplayed? And I thought, well, I don't see any writers cosplaying, so clearly you don't cosplay when you're a writer, because that's like fan stuff, and you're not a fan anymore, you're a writer. And then I heard that Terry Pratchett cosplayed at his own Discworld stuff. And I thought, oh. And many of you may know the story. I haven't told it in a while. So if you're newer, you may not have. But I stopped writing for a good 9-10 years after college. Because Ray Bradbury had said that if you don't run to your computer, typewriter, filled with joy about what you're going to write that day, then you shouldn't do it. And I thought, oh, Ray Bradbury says this is what a writer is, and he's a master of science fiction, and I've never sold a story. So clearly, because I look at writing as sometimes difficult, it's not for me. I still tell this as sort of a cautionary tale, but every time I tell the story, I'm just filled with shame for all the years I lost. It wasn't until my good friend Richard Dansky moved down the street from me, and he was a writer, and he's like, I'm like, I really want to write this book, but I don't know if I'm ready to write a book. He's like, write the book, just write the book. And I thought, oh. And I've talked about permission before, but this feels kind of different. And I know a lot of you may be thinking, I want to do X, but do writers do X? And it makes me think about, it was some self-help thing a while back, but they were thinking like, tigers don't think, it's morning, I'm a tiger, what do tigers eat for breakfast? I will eat that. They just are. They're just a tiger. And they may do things every other tiger does, and they may not do. We've shown many times animals have different personalities, but it's like, I think a lot of us try to get in our heads, what does a writer do? What do urban fantasy writers watch on TV? What do space opera writers read on their off time? And if you write space opera, then space opera writers read whatever you're reading. And the urban fantasy authors, if you write urban fantasy, you watch whatever they're watching, because you're making the benchmark. That's really what it is. You think everybody else is over here making the benchmark, creating it, and I must meet it. But once you become a writer, you're already there. You're already making your own. This is what writers do. For me, writers get on a podcast for 19 years running and whine about not being able to be published, and then my whining leveled up. Really, the only way to be a writer is to write. You can write fanfic that you never ever show to anybody, and you're a writer. Maybe not introduce yourself as a writer at a party, because that may confuse people, but you can. If you're proud enough to say, you know what, I'm a writer. That's what I do. That's the fun thing I do. You don't want to hear about my filing job. You want to hear about my writing. So many people have the dream, and we've all heard the excuse of, oh, I want to do X, but I don't have time. But now I'm thinking part of it is they don't do X because they don't think that they are the kind of people that do X. Like, I felt weird in high school, like, listening to alternative goth music, because I wasn't a goth. See what I said about visual art, like makeup, good clothing, fancy clothing. Not my thing. Just couldn't do it. And felt weird when I tried. It wasn't me. But it's like, yeah, I could be an alternative music fan because I listened to The Cure and the Smiths and stuff. And we as humans, we use things like clothing and language and makeup and where we go for fun and where we go to shop for food. These are all signals we're putting out to people. The signal may be, this is the closest grocery store to me. The signal may be, I make enough money to buy the really good meat at this high-end fancy grocery store. But, you know, I'm sure you guys can think of a brand of car that's always driven by jerks. I know you're thinking of one. That's not always true. So, it could be true. I mean, I don't like that muskrat boy. And I have a friend who has a car by him, and my friend is not a jerk. My friend is actually quite wonderful. And now I sound like I'm saying, don't generalize. And I think generalizing is sometimes necessary for safety. But overall, Tesla drivers may not always be a jerk. And romance writers might not always love to talk about sex. Chuck Wendig, who spouts very creative swearing online, people are surprised when they meet him, and he's not just vomiting forth lengthy sentences made of all profanity. He just, that's not Chuck. I've met him. Okay, Kimmy, Tesla truck, yeah, that's I'm just going to say the Tesla truck is the exception that proves the rule, But really, am I cool enough to wear that jacket? Am I tall enough to fix my hair like that? Am I serious enough to be a writer? These are all unnecessary questions to ask yourself. Hey, we got a raid from Claire. Welcome, Claire. Thank you for bringing your people here. No, do not be nice. The bot's doing mean things. I'm very sorry. Okay, so the bot first yelled at Claire for all caps and then did a shout out for Claire. So I guess that's its way of saying sorry. Anyway, I'm very glad I was checking out Claire's co-working before I started streaming, and always recommend hanging out with Claire for co-working and RPG stuff and monster dating sims as well. But wow, we really are enemies to lovers. Yes, you are. Very much so. But thank you for bringing your people here. I hope your co-working did well. My name is Mur. I'm a writer and a gamer. I usually stream my podcast. I still haven't gotten over the guilt of streaming a game during the day. I don't know why. I work from home. I have my own hours, but it's a brain thing. And we're talking about brain things today. We're talking about people who think, do writers do X? And if I do not do X, or instead I do Y, am I a writer? And we get in our own heads a lot. And you could put that for anything. But while we do have societal signals, I think we talk ourselves out of things more often than we don't listen to society signals and therefore go and join the CEO at his lunch table when you're in the mailroom, which I think could be a good plan, but CEOs don't eat there anymore, do they? Anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. Stop wondering. Mur from the past, if you want to cosplay, do it. After your first book, still do it if you want to. Why would you stop cosplaying because you're now a writer and writers don't cosplay? For one thing, writers do cosplay. And two, I let so many things stop me from I question myself on so many things. And this is one thing I should not do. A standing ovation. Thank you. Yeah, so I am open for questions. It's not a big, long message. I'm just trying to think of tigers and how tigers don't think about being tigers. They just are. If you think about being a writer more than you're writing, you're probably not. But if you ever have you pause in your writing to think, am I a writer? Yes, you are. And if you don't find yourself writing, then put the self-doubt in a little box and go write, and then don't let it out. It'll suffocate in there, and then you might feel a little bit guilty, but it'll be fine. They come back to life real fast. But I am getting started on my cozy fantasy soon. I think I'm going to be doing more, I think I'm going to be doing more co-working streams because I enjoy them. I find the only difficult thing is this is not my ergonomic setup. And so to write and stream at the same time, I have to clean off my desk, which, is something that adults should do. Although you are an adult even if you don't do that because, adults. So, and then I have to put my laptop here, and I can't go for too long or else I'll start getting shoulder and hand and all that crap. But I still like the co-working because it's fun. And we get to play Rusty's Retirement, which I have not talked about at all. Empty desk equals an empty mind. Thank you, Underpope, for the office quote. An ad is coming in 10 seconds, apparently. I'm going to put Rusty in the chat and not do much till you guys get back. So join the game if you like. Oh crap, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I have to actually turn on the Twitch integration. It's not just always there. Apologies. Now when you hit join, it'll come. There's K Kimmy. And this is something I'm going to have to remember to get out of the recording. I have finally unlocked pumpkins, which is great, because now I can try to grow huge pumpkins. I have a huge tomato over here, but clearly that's not enough. We must have more huge tomatoes. Hey, Claire, do you know if, actually, I don't know if you're hearing this, but I can ask when it's over, but I don't know what other vegetables are huge, can become huge. All I know is pumpkins and tomatoes. I have a weird relationship with turnips. My mother hates all root vegetables. Sweet potatoes, turnips. I never grew up with any of that food. So when I was an adult, I had a turnip for the first time. And it was good. I'm like, what the hell is all the hate on turnips? This is good. I'm really dying to find out if my kid eats lima beans as an adult, what they're going to think about it, because I hate that crap. And so I've never, ever cooked it or served it. Welcome back. I hope the ads are done. I've been talking about lima beans and turnips. And I'll ask one more time because I don't think Claire heard that. Do you know of any other vegetable that becomes huge in Rusty's Retirement? All I know is pumpkins and tomatoes. You don't have to eat the tomatoes, Shauna. No one's going to make you. I still can't figure out why it's so expensive to do bees and stuff. Those are the only ones you've seen. Gotta feel like there's other. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna bring out the next person so we can build that farm and get some blue cows around here. Okay. No, we don't have room! This is bad planning on my part. Okay, we're going to move this here for now. And we're going to move this down here. Maybe that'll work. But we're back. Someone in chat, I think it was Claire, said, had not heard that I'm working on a cozy fantasy. Is that what you were excited about? Yeah, I turned in my last murder mystery this past couple months ago, I guess, and finally got it, happy with it. It's final draft. I'll do a series of copy edits, of course, but it's pretty much done. And I am trying out the cozy fantasy genre. I really like it. I really like low stakes, comforting stuff. Strangely, a lot of fans have enjoyed low stakes stories in like the last 8-10 years. Don't know why. But, I was a big fan of Legends and Lattes. Travis Baldree is an excellent writer. And Ursula does a lot of low stakes fantasy as well. T. Kingfisher, who's in Spain right now, by the way. If you're in Spain, I don't know. You probably, if you're in Spain and a T. Kingfisher Ursula Vernon fan, you probably already know what her schedule is. But anyway, I'm going to be doing one, and it's going to be about sort of like spear carriers in a tavern. That's it. That's all I want to say. It's all secret and stuff. It's not that it's secret, actually. It's the fact that people, I think they've done studies where if you talk about the project you're doing, it can send a message to your brain that it can check something off a list and make you feel like you've done it. And, yeah, I don't want to do that. Although, as a person who constantly seeks validation, it's hard. And, of course, I have to pitch my editor and my agent so they know what it's about. But also, it makes me wonder, like, well, if you've got a project with a team and you have to talk about it, but that's probably different things in your mind. But I think it's only been mentioned in the way of creative people. So you want to write a book or make an album or something, and you start talking about what you're going to do, it can send the wrong message to your own brain that it's not as insistent. Not insistent. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's not an immediate need anymore because for some reason your brain thinks you've already done this. I didn't really get this because how can your brain believe something that your awareness knows? And then I realized once I understood time blindness by ADHD people like me, I'm like, oh, so your brain can be totally telling you it's fine. 5 minutes is just enough time to go across town, while your active brain is going, no, we have to leave now. And you're like, no, they're good. Although I do think that when my phone is at 1%, I don't think, oh no, I must plug in. I think I've still got some charge left. That's not the best way to do that. Interesting. Kemi says, it's like exposing film to light before it's developed. That is a really good point. Thank you. That explains it a lot better than I was. Ha-ha! Let's squeeze that right on in there. Now we're going to welcome Slate. We're going to get Slate's barn in here, and then we're going to bring in animals. Cows and pigs, mainly. Ooh, I unlocked a shrub. My bee area is just absolutely terrible now. I don't even know why I'm trying. Oh, I'm out of money. Okay. But yeah, looking forward to this. Has anybody known? I've not heard if they're going to be doing any updates and adding more animals or something. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only writer who doesn't have ADHD. I'm not going to cosplay as a neurodiverse person, though. You know what? It's great. It's. I think that a lot of creative people, the way the brains work is like the deficiency over here makes the creative stuff work over here. But that's not always the case. And hey, embrace it, Be happy that you can arrive on in a appointment on time. But the thing is, you know what I found out? You know what I found out about this? When you arrive to an appointment on time, you don't get thanked. You don't get like a sucker saying congrats. You don't get anybody cheering you. And I'm like, I need incentive to get there on time. And you are not offering me any incentive. Because I just want to walk into the waiting room like, 15 minutes early? Who saw that coming? And then like, they just be looking at me like I'm strange. Yeah. Okay, KKME says, often if I get a scene worked out in my head, I've lost all desire to write it out because I've already figured it out. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Claire says they're doing a winter Rusty's retirement. I am on board. Triffid says, whenever I visit my hometown, my mind is still convinced it won't take me more than 20 minutes to get anywhere, despite how much population has grown and roads have spread since then. Yeah. For me, I'm like, I don't even know how long it's going to take me to get home tomorrow because I don't know what the roads are like. I'm delighted to be driving on them in the dark. That should be fun. I'm pretty sure if there were any major holes you could fall into, they would rope those off. Like, if you haven't, just search for images on I-40, North Carolina mountains, Helene. You'll see that it's really hard to get to Tennessee right now in that direction, or that road, and that's the main road people use to get from North Carolina to Tennessee, unless you're not near 40. Ian is here. Doe, what did I miss? Well, we're on the tail end. We're mainly talking about how tigers don't think I have to be a tiger today, or what are other tigers doing, and am I doing that thing that other tigers are doing? They're just tigers. So along the same lines, don't wonder if writers do X, Y, or Z. If what you're thinking is not writing. And if you are, then yeah, they need to write. But if you never go to conventions, you're still a writer. If you're writing. And we're also playing Rusty's Retirement. Which is, I'll show you what that is in the chat. Not even a high five. Exactly, right? Not if they're holes into Fairyland. Those tend to be hidden but easy to drive into. I don't think there's anything between here and the North Carolina mountains that is a road into Fairyland. And I've driven that road a lot. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. I'm happy to AMA for the rest of the time. Probably will release the full episode, including all the swearing at the beginning, to Patreon supporters. The fabulous are over there at patreon.com/mightymur. And if you're listening to this, well, you're either here live or you're a Patreon supporter already. So thank you. I think about trying to take my content onto more video stuff or do video shorts or something. And I think my problem, connected to what we just talked about, my problem is that I've been talking about this stuff for 20 years. Well, 19. I know that I'm always reaching new people, and I'm always trying to get new people to listen to the show. But part of me says, I have talked about this topic so many times, clearly everyone's heard it. Everyone in the world has not heard my podcast. If they had, things would be very different now. Woo, swearing, getting our money's worth. That's right. I gotta say, we've been watching Taskmaster on YouTube lately. British sort of game show. Not really a game show. It's basically they take 5 comedians and they give them really weird stuff to do. And it's very, very funny. And I think it's even more funny by the fact they don't censor any of the language. So yeah. But if you guys don't have any questions, then I may be done. I have to go pick up groceries and be an adult and stuff. My wife and I love Taskmaster. They're Australian and New Zealand versions as well. Yes, we got caught up on the latest season, so we started watching. What did my husband choose? Season 5, I think. I know, adulting. Yeah, but you know what? I like to eat, Shauna. I really do. So I gotta go get food and bring it home, and then I have to cook the food. One of my favorite Instagram shorts is somebody saying, like, what is it about marriage that's so hard? And a guy answers with, it's very hard. You have to decide together what to eat for every meal for the rest of your lives. And I'm like, wow, that is dire. Really. Absolutely true. I just got a text from my kid. Don't forget about the groceries. Thank you. Thank you. That gives me PTSD. What, the choosing what to cook every night or every day, every meal? I have to eat what I have in the house. What happens when you run out of stuff? Well, if no one has any questions, good luck on all your writing endeavors. I'm going to see if there's anyone to raid. I starve or I go beg at my parents. That works too? I'm using the tablet mobile dashboard for the first time and no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. I see some people playing Baldur's Gate and Dragon Age, but most people I know who are playing Dragon Age are avoiding spoilers, so it's like, oh, they're playing Dragon Age, oh, I can't watch. This is how I go through it. I don't know. But, anyway, if you're writing, you're a writer. And if you're a tiger, you're a tiger. And if you're a writing tiger, then I want to discover you, because, man, I'd be rich. But if you want to watch me live, I'm usually on Thursday afternoons, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/MightyMur. Or you can find me, just search my name, or I Should Be Writing in any podcatcher you've got. I'm easy to find. And we talk about writing on this show. And I have books out. They're out. My latest ones are space murder mysteries. And yeah, I just want you guys to don't talk yourself out of being creative, because that really is the biggest thing that stops us, is ourselves. And we don't want to be jerks to ourselves. So, thank you for watching and listening, and you should be writing. We could raid Panda into Veilguard. I don't know how long Panda's been playing. Wait, Panda's got shop rank 8? Oh, Lord. Panda's way in. But anyway, I love Dragon Age, so... Wait, what are you saying, kids are asleep? If you raid Lady Mabes, I don't... Oh, okay, sure. Is she doing co-writing right now? Oh, thank you, Valerie. All right, the call is #Merraid. And, yeah, I got new emotes with bullies and tiny mers. So if you have any of those, then that's cool. Otherwise, hello, heart emotes. It's all very friendly. That's what we're looking for. So, thank you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to I Should Be Writing, the longest running writing podcast in existence. This episode was made possible by the Fabulous, who support the podcast via Patreon or Substack. Join the Fabulous at patreon.com/mightymur or mightymur.substack.com. Theme music provided by John Anelio, art provided by Numbers Ninja, and podcast hosting provided by Libsyn. This episode is released under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 license. You can find all of my books and podcasts at merverse.com.
I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft, but I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.